In day 4 of the murder trial against Cory Bigsby.
Yeah, the Hampton father is accused of killing his son and hiding his body. We've been following the trial and testimony all day. Dan Kennedy joins us live from Hampton with 13 News Now legal analyst Ed Booth. Dan.
Janet, thanks. Big moment in the trial today when Cory Bigsby's now 7-year-old brother testified on behalf of the prosecution and told them that he found his brother Codi and what appeared to be dead a couple years ago. But then the defense attorney on cross-examination was able to get the little boy to contradict some of his earlier testimony. Seemed like a pivotal moment in the trial, and that's why I'm thankful to have our 13 News Now legal analyst Ed Booth joining me now to walk us through some of this. So, Ed, what happens to this boy's credibility now?
Well, when you have a child testifying, I think jurors are going to have expectations that a 7-year-old testifying about events that happened when he was 5 are going to be limited in some ways by his age. So their expectations are going to be realistic. The key components are really going to be, those unusual facts that are tied to the case. For instance, the fact that he said that his brother was lying there dead. Those are the sort of facts that, you really just can't make up. Now, I understand that there were some issues on cross-examination with regard to his testimony, and that's perhaps expected with his age, but I also understand that the prosecution then came back and was able to introduce some other testimony, and I think that was a key point in the trial.
Exactly right. After the child had since left the stand, they brought in a worker from Child Protective Services who then testified, Ed, to her memory of interviewing the child around the time that Codi went missing, and her testimony lined up with what the child originally said. The prosecution clearly at that point trying to add credibility back to this witness.
Absolutely, and a lot of people would say, well, wait a second, isn't that hearsay? Someone's coming into court and testifying about a prior statement that another person made outside of court. But there are exceptions, and this particular exception is the prior consistent statement. So in other words, when a witness testifies and then they're impeached on cross-examination, someone can come in and call another witness to say, yes, but that person, in this case the child, his brother, testified consistently with their testimony at trial, and that gets around that hearsay objection, and that's why that CPS worker was allowed to come in and testify today to boost that credibility because of that prior consistent statement.
During the cross-examination of the boy, the defense attorney told him, he said, now remember, the judge told you how important it was for you to come in here and tell the truth, but that's not exactly what you did, is it? And the boy said no, and then he broke down in tears. What kind of moment could that have been for the jury to witness that? Well,
I think with juries, you always want to think about, they're going to bring their common sense in here. You've got a 7-year-old child testifying about the death of his brother. It's going to be traumatic for him. Yes, did his testimony involve some things that weren't the truth? Sounds like it, that is the case. But did it also involve some things that were true and then also consistent with prior testimony? Absolutely. So, I think the jury is going to pay attention to that, but they're also going to bring their common sense as parents, familiar with children, to this case as well, and then think about what really is the truth here.
All right, Ed, thank you. As we learned during jury selection, some of the jurors are parents and grandparents. Ed will join us again. We'll hear more from him coming up in about an hour as we look forward to the defense presenting its case. Now back to you.
All right, thank you. Excellent analysis there, Dan. And stay with us for 13 News Now at 5 for the latest on today's testimony and where things stand with the Bigsby trial.